106 to 116. The 76ers defeat the Utah Jazz, improving to 39-32. Jazz go to 21-50. I'm Coy Camiscioli from Philly Sports Talk. You know what? I'm kind of in a good mood tonight about the 76ers. And in recent podcasts, it has not really been that kind of way. I'm sorry I haven't uploaded in like 10 days or so. Things have got a little crazy with baseball and just personal stuff. So I'm back. That's the big thing. I'm here to continue recapping games for the Sixers. Trust me, I've still been watching. I've still been listening. Still looking at all the scores and everything. And I watched most of this game while also listening to it on the radio. And this was a big one. So I'm not going to talk insane about this game. I'm more going to talk about the Sixers' current status and what they're looking at moving forward. Obviously, this was against the Utah Jazz. Like, I know the Utah Jazz are not a good basketball team this year. They're tanking, this, that. But overall, the Sixers have done a great job recently in winning the games that they need to win. In their last 5 games, again, we're without Kelly Oubre, we're without Tyrese Maxey, Paul George, Joel Embiid, all these guys, and other players have missed time too for certain things over the course of the last 10 or so games. But over the last 5 games, Sixers beat the Nets. They beat the Blazers, which was a back-to-back. They won both of them. We lost to the Nuggets kind of badly, but listen, that was kind of as expected. And then we beat Utah and Sacramento on the road. I'm actually really pleased with this team right now. Obviously, not the front office still. I hate all those guys with a passion. But I'm very happy with what this team has done in the last 5 games to really put themselves in the mix. And we're really in the home stretch right now. We got the Thunder coming up on Monday, the Bulls on Wednesday. So the Thunder game is going to probably be advantage OKC on that one. I doubt we're going to win that game. But then we have a couple huge ones coming up against Charlotte and Miami, who are both 2 teams right around the same position as us. And to round out the season, we have 2 pretty easy games to end the season in the Pacers and Bucks, but a couple tough ones in between with the Rockets, Pistons, Spurs, Timberwolves. There's a lot kind of going on right now, but the Sixers, again, they kind of quietly surged back up. They lost that kind of play-in status they had for a while. But now they're currently sitting at the 7 seed, 12.5 back of the 1 seed, which is obviously not what we're looking for. But they're tied with the Hawks for the 6 seed right now. Obviously, the Hawks have the edge after sweeping us this year. And the Sixers are just 1 game back of the Toronto Raptors for the 5 seed, as the Raptors lost their most recent game, and they're 5-5 in the last 10 games. So we're at the 7 seed, which is the top seed in the play-in, but we're 1 game back of the 5 seed, and again, we're tied for that 6 seed. We have a half-game lead over Orlando, who has the 8th seed, and we're a game up on Miami, who has the 9th seed. So all those teams, Hawks, Magic, Heat, they were all, and Raptors, they were all like on insane hot streaks for a while. And even Charlotte, who holds the 10 seed, and they're just only 2 back of us. They were all on insane hot streaks, and then they all kind of got cold, except for Charlotte. Charlotte's still 7-3 in the last 10. And Orlando, Miami, they're still 6-4 in the last 10, but they've lost 4 straight. Both those teams have lost 4 straight. So this is great for the Sixers. Again, I'd even be fine with the 7 seed play-in spot. I think that's a decent spot for them. But we have a way to get out of the play-in here with a couple more wins. And we got our guys starting to come back healthy soon, hopefully. Dominic Barlow, unfortunately, he rolled his ankle in this one. He got stepped on in this game. So he has an ankle sprain. He's listed as doubtful for a game on Monday. Little concern there. Hopefully he's not out for too long. But Joel Embiid, he's likely coming back on Wednesday, is what I'm thinking, which is also the date that Paul George is supposed to come back. And Kelly Oubre is still expected to miss a few more weeks. Tyrese Maxey, he's still out for a couple more weeks. But if we can get Joel Embiid back, if we can get Paul George back in this upcoming Wednesday against Chicago, I'm liking what the Sixers have cooking for the last 10 or so games here in the season. Just hopefully Barlow's okay. And Oubre and Maxey, they've both been doing on-court workouts before games and stuff like that, so they're not too far off. But we still have a little while without them. So going to the Sixers-Jazz game from this one, have VJ Edgecombe, Quentin Grimes, they carried the way. They combined for 47 points. Both shot pretty efficiently. Quentin Grimes was 9-15 from the field. Edgecombe was 9-19. Adem Bona had a career night offensively, 16 points, 7-12 from the field. So just three guys that kind of carried the way for the Sixers, and we needed it. And Trendon Watford, too, off the bench, had 20 points. He was 7-11 from the field. Cameron Payne, he had 16 on the bench, knocked down three balls, also had 7 assists. He has brought a little jolt to this team. Marjan Beauchamp has even brought a little jolt off the bench. He had 6 in this one. So this is not his best game, but just for the most part, I've really liked what he's brought to the table. And Quentin Grimes, too, I got to give him praise because I was on him for a while for most of the season. He's kind of got a hot hand recently. A couple big performances from him, and that's huge because we need that with who we have out right now. And he's just been disappointing this year. So it's good to see Quentin Grimes getting into a little bit of a rhythm here. Justin Edwards, he's been getting starts, and he's looked great. He had a 30 bomb last game against the Canes. Just 8 points in this one, but still, I'm really happy to see him doing as well as he is. Jabari Walker, he had 8 in this one. But overall, for the Sixers, guys, I'm happy. They had 16 offensive rebounds in this game, 8 blocks. They shot 50% from the field despite shooting just 22% from 3. So they were able to get it done without hitting the 3 ball. And I'm just really hoping that the Sixers can get a little surge here and get out of the play-in. Now, the problem is, when you look at what the Sixers have ahead of them in terms of the standings, you got to look in terms of matchups. So right now, again, the Sixers hold the 7 seed. Let's say they finish with the 7 seed, they win their first playing game, they get the 7 seed in the playoffs. They're looking at either Boston or New York. Obviously, that's not ideal. So if they get the 8 seed, which means they would lose their first playing game, or if they dropped to the 9th spot or the 10th spot in the play-in tournament, if they were to win consecutive games and get out of it, they would get the 8th seed, more than likely play Detroit. Although Detroit, they're not in the greatest spot overall right now. They still have a 4.5 game lead over Boston, 5 game lead over New York. But Cade Cunningham is now out with a collapsed lung, I believe, and he's out for the foreseeable future. They've still won 3 straight games, but that obviously caused for some concern. I'm not quite sure what that's going to look like down the stretch for them. But you got to start to consider that might be a matchup we prefer to have as the Sixers. Obviously, if I had to guess, I don't think the Sixers were to get the 8th seed. I think they finished somewhere between 7 and 5. I don't think that's a pretty stereotypical guess. I think they get 6 or 5. I'll say that. So I think they make it out of the plan, is what I'm gonna say right now. Which means they would have to jump Atlanta or Toronto and stay ahead of Orlando. Or not Orlando, Atlanta and Toronto, and they'd have to stay ahead of Orlando, Miami, and Charlotte. So if you get the 6th seed, you're looking at whoever Boston, New York, whichever one of those two does not get the 2 seed. And again, so the 6th seed and 7th seed for the Sixers is not very favorable. I just don't like us against Boston. I don't like us against New York. If I had a preference, I'd probably pick Boston. They're both dueling it out for the number 2 seed right now. Cleveland's not too far behind them as they hold the 4 seed, 7.5 games back of the 1 seed, 2.5 back of the Knicks. They have to be the preference for the Sixers to play. You're looking at either the Cavaliers or the Pistons who you want to play more, which is crazy. And I'm only saying the Pistons just because of the Cade Cunningham news, and who knows when he's back. But yeah, that's the whole playoff kind of breakdown for you guys, and that's all I got, really. So coming up for the Sixers, again, they have their game against Oklahoma City on Monday, which I'm not looking forward to. And for obvious reasons, in terms of Jared McCain, I also just think they get blown out. Then we'll have Chicago at home on Wednesday before we hit the road for a 3-game road trip against Charlotte, Miami, and Washington. So that's going to do it, guys. I also have Eagles podcast coming soon. Just stay tuned. Again, I'm sorry it's been a little while, but I'll talk to you guys soon. Go Sixers.